Apex Legends can be a complex game. So in this video, I'm going to break down several fights in diamond ranks so that you guys can better understand how to improve your IQ as you go about climbing the ranks. Now, all of the info that I share in this video will translate to all of the other ranks, so if you're not in diamond yet, don't worry, this will all still apply. Let's dive into it. Now, the first type of fight I want to break down is the one where one of your teammate dies right away, and it forces you and the other remaining teammate to play more on your heels. Now, these moments can be extremely difficult to navigate because as you begin fighting better players, well, the less breathing room they will allow for a duo to beat them when they still have 3 on their team. They're going to play tighter, they're going to play more aggressive, it's going to be much harder to split them up, but I want to take a closer look at this fight right here. One thing I've preached about in previous videos is when one person goes down on your team, it's imperative that you and the remaining teammate play really close together. You have to have insane coordination. You really want to be on top of one another and communicating extremely well because the margin for error for you two is now basically nothing. So as you can see, I quickly asked my teammate to retreat back to me so that we could play in this 3-story building. I knew that if we got here, this is a great way to potentially confuse this enemy team and perhaps allow for them to come in at different angles and be split up. And that's exactly what happens. I find this Seer being overly aggressive and it seemed like he was waiting for his teammates. I was able to 1v1 him and then I quickly repositioned because I'm anticipating the third or the second teammate to follow up right around where Seer died. But as you'll notice, I run into the stairwell and I do find Loba. Now, I take both of them out and my teammate was very surprised I was able to kill both of them that quickly. So I said to him, can you handle the last one? And that's why I go ahead and pop a battery inside because at the very least, if my teammate loses this 1v1, I'm very close and I'll be fully healed to come in and clean it up. I'm playing extremely safe, but smart. In the next fight, something very similar happens again. This is the same game. We have rotated ahead. I'm keeping in mind the zone and the time and how much we have left before we gotta move. But there is a team that is approaching and quickly one of my teammates gets knocked. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to shoot one as they cross. I'm pretty ineffective at that. So I use my Bangalore ult and I call for my teammate to try to crawl back inside. As this guy walks up the stairs, he's going to get slowed to his teammate's own fuse ult. I have to take advantage of that and down him. Then I realized my other teammate's in a 1v1 and he had him low, so I'm able to capitalize on that. Now, I'll be honest, I don't do the best here because I don't know what I was thinking, but I should have just pushed this guy right here. Instead, I nade him a few times, hoping he'll come out, but instead the downed guy crawls in, so now he's playing on both of their knockdown shields. I advise my teammate to crawl closer to me so that I can play off his knockdown, and potentially even bait a res so he'll jump out. I wasn't sure he was in the corner here, but I'm able to take care of him, and I used my positioning as a head glitch to punish his positioning. Now, similar to the first clip, when you're down on numbers against a team, you really want to look at picking off one of the enemy players who is pushed up a little too far ahead of the rest of them. That's what I found Loba doing, and I noticed a circumstance that wasn't in her favor, and that was the fuse ult, which is going to slow her and obstruct some of her vision. I really had to take advantage of downing her there. Another thing is the use of my Bangalore ult. It not only dealt 40 damage to the guy my other teammate was 1v1ing, but it slowed and stunned him, and I reacted quickly and I was able to take care of him. So it left me in a 1v1 and I had barely taken any damage at that point. Now, as I said, I kind of screwed up in that last 1v1. I should have been more aggressive on that Octane because he could have very well just played his 2 teammates' knockdown shields and stayed inside that room, thirsting my downed teammate, and it could have gotten messy. Instead, he pushed out, got too aggressive for no good reason, and fell into my hand. Now, once again, same game, 3 versus 3, top 2 scenario. I'm gonna open this fight with some significant damage with my Kraber. This is always a great opportunity to push up and close the gap once you deal a significant amount of damage. You'll see I take some damage in the cross, so I'm gonna elect to heal right beneath this team, hoping my other 2 teammates can play off any previous damage I dealt. However, the horizon challenges me here and I don't really like this angle. So I'm going to briefly climb up, deal some more damage and fall back down. Then I will look to capitalize on knocking one of them. Watson is also cracked here, so I'm trying to make sure she doesn't reset the fight. I used my last battery on the approach. So as I'm trying to sweat the down horizon, I realize I just have to push and take out the Watson. Now, I kind of sacrificed myself, but I do so with the hopes that my teammate can win this 1v1. I noticed he was fully healed before I approached the Wattson, so I figured it's better to take out the Wattson than allow for her to potentially reset, and I don't have any big heals, so it would complicate the fight. This is definitely what I would describe as a high risk play, because as you saw in previous fights, I made it a big deal to preserve my life. However, a lot of situations in Apex have a ton of nuance to them. I realized I couldn't just heal and get back in. Slow healing in this fight wouldn't have really been an option. I was also calming to my teammates, can he kill this Wattson, or can he at least take care of the Bloodhound while I go and try to take out the Wattson? He was not really feeling like he was able to do those things, so I felt, okay, I have to take advantage of this. I have to take out the Wattson, and maybe I stay alive and maybe I get to heal then, but that's not what ended up happening. They had a long, drawn-out 1v1, and for whatever reason, this Bloodhound backed up. The Bloodhound also moved away from his down teammates as me and my other down teammate moved closer to our alive teammate. So, on top of that, he had a gold res, and that allowed for us to get a full reset, and we ended up winning the game. So what about an early sort of off-drop fight? One of those fights you know somebody landed in the same POI as you, and you want to look to kill them so that they don't mirror your rotation and so that you get some early KP to ease the burden of the rest of the ranked match. Well, here we're going to land onto Trials. We could hear gunshots going down inside of Trials, and we knew we wanted to fight this team. I'm going to pop my Bloodhound ult here shortly, and we are going to look to take this fight. Now, when you're dropping on a team, you really want to try to seize an opening. You want to look for some sort of advantage that you can capitalize on. And here we acknowledge one guy is stuck in the center while the other two are further back. If we drop, quickly kill him, we have an easier time taking out the duo. I down Seer, I stay alive, I tell my teammates that I'm staying alive and popping a battery, and Newcastle pushes my other teammate. I look to kill him as he punches out my teammate in the corner here, and then it's 2v1. Now we're both kind of low. I throw a couple of grenades to back this crypto off of his platform, pop a scan, let my teammate go in first, he dies, and clean it up. Preserving my life was once again a common theme here, but also strategically placing myself outside of line of sight from multiple opponents. That is something that really good players abuse in Apex. They have a good understanding of where the enemies are and where they can position themselves to not be opened up to multiple lines of gunfire. In this fight, let's analyze how to close the gap against your opponents. You can see that this enemy and I are matching head glitches. I am able to get a crack, which is some great entry damage to then close the gap, because theoretically he's going to back up to heal and he's not going to be able to hold that angle. And if his teammate does, well, hopefully we're already underneath them. You'll see I strategically place my Cyril in this corner so that they have no way of destroying it. And as I walk up to the door, I one-clip the Loba. Now let's take a closer look at this door clip. You'll notice I get to the door first, so I get to control the pacing of it. She is further back from the door and she's thinking about, I got to get up to it. I got to block the door. I open the door quickly because I see that's what she's doing, and I just one-clip her as she's sliding down in the open. I took no damage in that trade, so I'm just going to quickly reload and look to re-enter. My teammate and I kick the door, and Seer's standing right there, and I get another one-clip. All right, now a common theme in ranked is third parties are going to be hectic. They're going to be there. Teams are going to look to take advantage of third partying you, and you're going to take advantage of third partying other teams, right? Well, in this fight, we knew a third party was coming because right after I killed Seer, I got scanned by a Bloodhound. And keeping track of the legends that were at play, well, there's obviously no Bloodhound there. So our next move is take the high ground over where we think they are. If we can control height on them, we can have a huge advantage over them. I could hear the zip line as someone was attempting to come up, and we are able to shoot this guy, do a lot of damage to him, and force him back to low ground. Now we've completely tilted the fight into our favor as we have leverage in positioning and leverage with damage. I know this is going to sound really obvious, but one of the keys to us winning this third party fight was us being prepared for it. Now, we didn't really know it was coming, but the key to it lied with none of us getting knocked in the first fight. So trying your absolute best to basically never get knocked in these higher elo lobbies is something you're gonna want to strive for. Now, I know, of course, most of us don't set out to die in a fight, but there are often small and subtle things we can do throughout fights to set ourselves up for success in this regard. The preservation of your life from fight to fight will help your team out immensely and further your efforts in gaining more RP. Apex is a battle royale, so at its core, your attention must always be on the possibility of other teams getting involved in whatever you're currently engaged in. If you can implement some of the tactics that I listed in this video, well, your gameplay should definitely improve over time. But there's one thing you should know. There's often bad Apex advice that is constantly surfacing on multiple different platforms. I broke it all down in this video here. Check it out next. Thanks for watching. Peace.